Whether pumping your gas at an abandoned gravel road, digging graves near funerals, or picking up hitchhikers for a short drive into town, Ashcan Pete is always willing to share his wisdom and knowledge of local lore. But seldom do folks take him seriously. Here to share some of his survival guide, Don't Say I Didn't Warn Ya, Ashcan Pete.
Yeah. Oh, Dana, wouldn't go that way if I was you. That way's much safer there. I'd go through there. Yeah. Go on then there. Let's see here. Hi, folks. Name's Ashcan Pete. Spent most of my life trying to help folks stay out of trouble. Trouble is, no one seems to take me seriously, so I wrote this here book to try to make myself seem more credible. I give a lot of directions there. I was telling a lost traveler about a fork in the road. I told him, I said, well, if you make a left at the fork, you'll pass a half-dead oak tree with a rope hanging from a dead limb. Go past that a ways, and you'll see on the right side of the road 3 large stones, far too large to have been lifted with human strength to be in the Stonehenge-like position that they are. If you see red marks in the shape of human hands on them, well, you're at the one I mean. Keep going till the road turns to gravel, then dirt, then pavement again, and you'll come to a covered bridge. If you drive across the bridge, you'll come out the other end only to find out you're back at the start of the covered bridge. That's because you have to wait till full moon to make it to the other side. So, in my opinion, turn right. I remember the other night at a diner, overheard some newlyweds say they were planning to stay up at the road there at the old unnamed bed and breakfast. Tried telling them the Motel 6 down the other way is a much better place to stay. Sure, the coffee's garbage, but no one ever died there. 17 unsolved murders at the B&B. If it wasn't bad enough, the old bed and breakfast has far too many mirrors. If you use a medicine cabinet there, just leave it open. Don't close it. Now, here's a good tip. If you find yourself in a house that has more mirrors on the wall than it has rooms, run for your goddamn life. Which brings me to my favorite section in the book here, in the survival guide, chapter 7, run for your goddamn life. Now, you may find yourself a trail of fresh blood, or otherwise on the ground or the floor there. Don't follow it. You're not a law enforcement authority. You run for your goddamn life. This is mostly for white people. Now, you might think that could be a missing friend's blood. Well, say your farewells and get gone. Unless you want to end up like your friend there with their intestines strewn about the trees like some kind of morbid wind chime. You know, folks ask me, they say, Pete, what's that sound in the basement there? And I tell them, I wouldn't know. You could tell I wouldn't know because I'm alive. Now, let's suppose that you're being pursued by a homicidal maniac or supernatural creature. If they're in a car or a motorized vehicle and you're on foot, get out of the goddamn road. Make a 90-degree turn. Hard to drive through trees. There's a caveat, though, 1 or 2 here. As tempting as it may be, do not hide in a cornfield. They look like a great hiding spot from the outside, but once you're in there, it all looks the same. Unless your name's Malachi or you're one who walks with the rose, stay out of there. Now, let's suppose you happen to subdue your attacker by hitting him over the head with a vase, knocking him out on the ground for about, 7-8 seconds. These few seconds are crucial. Most folks spend them screaming bloody murder and running away. But in this instance, hit him over the head with another goddamn vase. Stomp on their neck. Use that iron poker they dropped and turn their brains into scrambled eggs via an eye socket. Use your common sense. Now, if you do run, don't hide in the basement, because there's only one way out of there. Don't hide upstairs, because the only other way down is from a window. Next thing you know, you're hobbling away with a broken ankle in the dooryard there. Another thing I've done is I've opened my own business just off the road down a ways. I call it Ashcan Pete's Survival Can Be Convenience Store. Sells all sorts of useful things like batteries. One thing's for sure, no matter how many times you slap the side of a flashlight you're holding in the palm of your other hand, it won't recharge the batteries. Got pre-charged cell phone banks and geographically accurate maps written by the locals, not like the ones on your GPS that don't seem to show the old odd dirt road or tourist trap. I use the word trap there literally. Also, an assortment of sizes and colors of women's flat shoes. If I had a nickel for every broken heel I found while clamming, well, I probably wouldn't need to run a survival could-be convenience store. For the fellas, I have mineral supplements there. If you're a horn dog with his wife or got a high school girlfriend with the body of a 28-year-old, then I'd get yourself some of Ashcan Pete's saltpeter supplements. You know what they say, saltpeter kills the libido. If that's not enough to stop you and your girl from playing Chug the Chowder, got lots of dirty magazines there in a private room. Just tap your little maple tree there to your heart's content. I'd avoid doing that at campsites or buildings you've never stayed in before. Ladies, now if you happen to be single or a virgin or a babysitter or incredibly wholesome, you can ignore these warnings. You'll probably come out okay. But all you other ladies there, when you get the urge to, bait your lobster trap by taking off your clothes, don't. Keep your shirts on. Isn't it enough everyone can see your nips through that tight sweater? Seems a little tight there. What's it made out of? Sausage skins? Listen, and when you have to take a shower in the same place you've never been, don't. Unless you want to be the cleanest corpse at the campsite. Just keep your goddamn clothes on. In the same section of my survival can be convenience store, where you'll find holy water and bundles of white sage, you'll also find a easy-to-read Latin to English dictionary. Now, if you find a mysterious book or message written in this dead language, you might think, well, since you took one semester of Latin and you can pronounce the words phonetically, don't. Maybe translate them first. Maybe write them down and share them on paper with your friends instead of just saying the mysterious words carved in a stone in the root cellar built in some old Indian burial ground. Now, I've done my best, but folks just don't want to listen. So buy this book here. I'll leave you with this caveat here, or this little anecdote. Not long ago, saw a van broken down on the road, 4 people in there. Ambiguous age. Looked like they were dressed for the 1970s costume party. Couldn't tell if they were 17 or 37. But I could tell that the Doberman shivering with fear was not going to help. They insisted on directions to the old rundown fun house. Tried to tell them it's been closed for years now, but they wouldn't listen. Instead, they insisted they had a, quote, groovy mystery on their hands. Never heard from them again. So, if you're planning a road trip or camping trip, especially to the northeast United States, up by Bar Harbor, Derry, Maine, you might want to consider buying my book first. Don't say, didn't warn you.